We cannot talk about hemorrhoids without mentioning something to do with constipation, because it's a major contributor. Now, constipation is when it becomes hard to pass the stool because of several reasons, one of which is having that hard stool, and you have several causes of that constipation. It can be that you're pregnant. Mostly happens when progesterone will usually make the bowel movement to slow down. So the longer the stool stays in your body, the more the amount of water will be absorbed from the stool, making it a little bit harder for it to pass. So it becomes even harder. Even we usually have people when they are approaching their menstrual cycle, when they're about to get their menses, they start getting constipation or they start getting runny stomach. Now, the reason for the two, for the constipation is still for the same reason. The bowel movement slows down, making it even easier for water to be absorbed from that same stool. So that's one thing. When you're having a runny stomach, it's due to overproduction of prostaglandin. And in previous video, like I said, you need prostaglandins to shake off the wall, the uterine lining. So the wall will have to contract and relax. It uses the prostaglandins. When you have overproduction of the same, it hurries up. It makes everything in your stomach to hurry up. So there's no enough absorption of that water. So you start getting runny stomach until you are done with your menses or you are done with the first phase of your cycle. That's when everything now resumes. We have other things like, for example, the food that you're taking. If you're taking food which has less fiber, physical fiber, and also soluble fiber. Now, fiber is very important. Actually, it's part of the structure of the plant. We have cellulose, which forms the structure of the plant, which makes the plant to be turgid and all that. That's why a plant can stand erect. And a cell of any animal cannot be able, because there is no that cellulose, the structure. I remember from my biology, that's what we learned actually, it's still the same. So when you eat plants as part of your diet, you cannot be able to digest the cellulose because you don't have the special bacteria in your gut that will help in breaking down that. So when it comes to animals that usually feed on plants, the herbivores, they usually have that bacteria in their gut, so they are able to break down that and provide energy for themselves. So that's why it's easier for them. For us, it's not, and now we take the advantage of that fiber because it helps. We have peristalsis, which is the process of moving things forward in your gut. So that peristalsis will benefit very much from something which is not digestible, so it has some good grip on whatever is pushing forward. Now we have other things like, for example, taking tiny meals. When this is a little bit controversial, but when you take tiny meals, it means that at one certain point you don't have the bulkiness of the stool that you need for effective peristalsis, of which we don't actually have to worry much about this, because now when you're pushing out something small, it doesn't strain any muscle back there. So unless maybe you keep that stool for long, which is now our next point, when you stay for long without going to the washroom, you still have, you feel that you need to go to the washroom, but because you are at work and you don't want to share the common bathroom or the common washroom that you use at workplace, because you don't want to, we have so many theories around that. So you want to keep it until you come back to your house. It's going to give that stool a really long time in your body, and also it's going to give your body a lot of time to absorb the remaining water in that stool, making it even a little bit harder. So when finally you get to a point where you can now go to the bathroom, you're really going to strain. And straining, this is where now the hemorrhoids will come in. Now, we still have other things that can also cause that still constipation. Before you go to the causes, we said constipation is one of the major causes. So that's why we are dealing with it, so that we get to know how we can able to fix this, because once we fix constipation, most of, let's say 70% of the patients will have healed their the hemorrhoids or the occurrence of their hemorrhoids. When you're taking family planning pills, some of which usually contain progesterone, it's one of the notorious ones, it usually leads to you having slower bowel movement. And I'm not saying that it happens in everyone. It can happen due to, now, you see, when you're taking something that contains progesterone in your body as a form of family planning, it tricks your body into thinking that you're pregnant. And one of the side effects of, not side effect, one of the things that usually happen when you become pregnant is the slow movement of the bowel. And like I said, by now you understand that much of the water will be absorbed, and you're going to strain when you're passing out that the stool, when you're passing it out. Now that we have talked about constipation, which is a major contributor when it comes to formation of the hemorrhoids, let's look at several other things that usually cause you to have have the same hemorrhoids, but they are not related to constipation. One of which is lifting very heavy things. You're going to exert pressure on your pelvic region, and this is where now this will be transferred to now the area where you usually form the hemorrhoids. And by them, everyone has them. You're going to have hemorrhoids if you are a normal person. It's only that they become problematic when they bulge, when they become a little bit larger, and you have a very, very, let's say, high concentration of the veins there. This is the reason why you have drugs that we can insert in the anal cavity, and the absorption will take them directly to blood because you have so many vessels there. Now, deadlifting, it's a major contributor because of exerting pressure there. The same case happens when you're pregnant. You can be having those hemorrhoids during the time when you're pregnant. We have veins coming from that region, and we can have pregnancy exerting pressure on them, and this will lead to the pooling of blood in that area, leading to the bulging of the same, because now hemorrhoids is the formation of those bulges that are containing blood. Also, sitting for too long, because you're still exerting pressure on your pelvic region, and you need to distribute that to your legs and also the muscles surrounding you. So you don't actually need to stay for so long. You need to take breaks so that at least you give the relief to your pelvic region so that you get to transfer your weight to other areas of the body. We have constipation, we say that, and we have anal sexual penetration, which is another cause, which is something that's a little bit, let's say, becoming a little bit more common, because now you see those are the muscles that are supposed to just push things out through peristalsis, and we have the muscle outside, the one that usually we call the door, the one that usually keep everything inside until you go to the washroom, and then you voluntarily release that. But when you have consistent pressure in that area, you might end up having that area bulging and creating the trouble that we are talking about here. For the hemorrhoids, you have three types. You have the internal, you have external, and we have prolapse. Now, the internal usually form inside the anal cavity, and the external ones usually form around the skin, around your anal opening. Those which are prolapse can be either of the two, but you have like the skin hanging outside, so that's when you have that issue. And treatment is a little bit easier because we can tell exactly if, for example, it was constipation. Fixing constipation will actually fix so many of the problems that we have with people with hemorrhoids. If you fix constipation, and like I said, constipation can be caused by several things, one of which is pregnancy. If, for example, you are pregnant, you really need to just go see your doctor first and see the best drug that you can use, or you just observe whatever you're eating so that you increase the amount of fiber that you're taking, and also you increase the amount of water that you're taking, because it's very important to have enough water so that, you see, constipation usually happens due to overabsorption of the stool, or maybe due to the movement of the stool. But when you are well hydrated, your body will not as much grab that water from that stool, so you end up sparing some to keep your stool soft, so you're able to pass that out without much force. Another one is avoiding anal penetration, and we have removal. Now, removal can take several things. Now, we have like physical removal, surgical removal of those hemorrhoids, and also we have ligation, whereby like a rubber band is tied around those which are large, the hemorrhoids which are big, and this will kind of strangle them from getting the blood. So when you strangle that tissue will die off, and then it will just drop off. Others are just burning using something like a laser, and this will just destroy the structure of that hemorrhoid, and this will over time heal, and it will just disappear. If the family planning pills that you're using are the ones that are giving you the hemorrhoids, you will really need to go back to your doctor and talk about the other alternatives, because if you continue having this, then even if you treat that, it might end up coming back, because now most of the time, like I said, we still have constipation due to that, because progesterone is one whole big culprit when it comes to giving you the constipation, which, like we said, in turn will give you the hemorrhoids due to you forcing stool out of your body.